Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Waves of Healing. We are dedicated to communicate to you and provide you with information of being aware and keep open mind to alternative ways of healing, whether it's physical, emotional, or spiritual. We invite you to live your life with purpose by trusting your own intuition. Our mission is to awaken your awareness where you can listen to your own truth. We inspire you in connecting with your own spirit where the healing takes place and create a lifestyle filled with health, wealth, joy, and happiness. In Waves of Healing show, we'll bring you energy healers, spiritual leaders, and health-conscious personalities who will be answer to all your questions. I'm your host, Leah Yekutiel, coming to you live from Los Angeles, California, as I do every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. I'm a breast cancer victor, not victim, and the author of the book, Making the Breast of It, with a subtitle, Overcoming Fear of Intimacy After Mastectomy. In order to learn more about my book, please visit my website at www.ilovemybreastcancer.com. All in one word, ilovemybreastcancer.com. And while you are visiting my website, please purchase my book and give a gift of love to somebody you love who went through breast cancer, where they can learn how to reclaim their femininity back after breast cancer and how to rebuild their self-confidence as women after breast cancer and learn how to accept their new image and love it. And they will learn that sexuality exudes from inside out and not from outside in. And the most important thing they will learn is how to connect with their spiritual aspect of life through the many exercises in the book where they can realize that we women are not only our body and neither we are only our breasts in order to be functional, viable, sexual beings. So this is very, very important to all of us to realize that, because unfortunately we live in a society that the men consider women being her breast, and this is not so. And also, anybody who orders my book through my website, I promise I'll autograph the book before it gets shipped out. And also, while you're visiting my website, you can download for free 25 breast health tips that if you apply few of them in your daily life, you'll be surprised how many cancers, how many diseases, how many breast cancer we can prevent, because my show is all about healing and prevention, as you already know. So please download them for free and apply them to your everyday life. Also, I wanted to tell everybody that my book actually is being made into a movie, and we are in search for capital investors who are interested in investing in such an important and educational subject as breast cancer. So if you know of anybody, please let me know. And I really thank you very much in advance. And I'm so excited for my guest today. I don't want to keep you in suspense, so my guest today is Dr. Eric Pearl. Many of you know about Dr. Eric Pearl, but for those who are not that familiar with him, let me just tell you a little bit about him, and what I am going to tell you is just the tip of the iceberg about his ability and what he does in the world. Dr. Eric Pearl is the author of the international bestseller, The Reconnection, Heal Others, Heal Yourself, now published in more than 36 languages. He travels the globe teaching reconnective healing, an extraordinary new way to heal others, yourself, and your loved ones by engaging with scientifically measurable new frequencies that researchers are calling the forefront of information medicine. People learn how to activate and utilize this all-inclusive spectrum of healing frequencies that allows us to completely transcend energy healing and access a level of healing beyond anything anyone has been able to access prior to now. To date, he has taught this new level of healing to over 70,000 people in more than 70 countries. By the way, I'm included in the 70,000 people because I took his seminars and I'll be talking about it as well. Bringing about a spontaneous generation of healers worldwide. As a doctor, Eric ran a highly successful chiropractic practice for 12 years until one day his patients began reporting that they felt his hands on them, even though he hadn't physically touched them. Patients soon reported receiving miraculous healing from cancers, AIDS-related diseases, epilepsy, cerebral palsy, chronic fatigue syndrome, rheumatoid and osteoarthritis, birth disfigurements, and other serious afflictions. All this occurred when Eric simply held his hands near them, which ultimately led to his discovery of reconnective healing and its extraordinary power to heal people and change lives. And I can tell you, he definitely changed my life, and we are blessed to have Eric with us live today. So let's welcome Eric to Waves of Healing. Eric, are you there? Hello?
You hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I can hear you now. Hi, Eric.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome to Waves of Healing. I'm so excited. You can't imagine.
I'm so glad to be here.
Yes, yes. You know, before anything else, I wanted to tell the listeners that I took your seminar, and you know that, and I interview so many different healers, and I take so many different of their seminars. But yours, it was so touching and so incredible that during the first day, I burst into tears 4 times. 4 times, because it was so touching me and just incredible. And during the show, I'll tell you more about my experiences and experiences of other people that I refer them to your book, and they took the Reconnective Healing and all this kind of stuff. So, Eric, I spoke enough, and now it's your turn. Tell us about your background as a doctor before any of this reconnective healing ever happened.
Well, I practiced as a doctor of chiropractic for 12 years when one night a few strange things occurred. I was awakened in the middle of the night by a very bright light. I opened my eyes to see what it was, and it wasn't anything seemingly spiritual or metaphysical. It was simply the lamp next to my bed. It had turned itself on. Now, I had that lamp for a good 10 years. It hadn't turned itself on before, but I thought maybe it was something electrical, like an electrical short, except shorts usually turn things off, so maybe, I don't know, some other form of electrical something or other. And yet, at the same time, it felt very clearly that somebody was in my house. So I got up with a knife and a can of pepper spray and my Doberman pinscher, and I went hunting for them. And after about 15 or 20 minutes, I decided that either no one was there, or if they were there, I would never be able to find them. So I told myself it had to be my imagination. I went back to sleep. But that Monday when I went into my office, 7 of my patients began insisting that they were feeling people in the room with us.
Wow.
Pretty much the way I was feeling people in the rooms in my home. They told me they felt as if people were standing, walking, running. 2 of them actually looked at me and said it felt as if somebody was flying around the ceiling. Now, this was my 12th year in practice. No one had ever said anything like this to me before, so you would think that that would have gotten my attention. But other patients are saying, I can feel your hands before you touch me. And, of course, I didn't believe them. So I told them to lie down with their eyes closed, and I held my hands facing different directions, and they could tell me whether it was my palms were aimed towards their feet or their shoulders, even though I was several inches, feet, or sometimes yards away from them. As I would do this, I would see tiny, tiny, tiny little muscles in their forehead and their chin begin to ripple and pull, pulling at their lips, pulling at their eyebrows. I would see the fingers go into involuntary movements. Their feet would move. When their eyes would rapidly dart back and forth. And when they'd open their eyes, they started reporting seeing colors that they had never seen before, and smelling flowers of fragrances of flowers they had never before smelled. And they started reporting healings, real healings. They were getting up out of wheelchairs, some of them. Vision and hearing returning. Patients were
at that point?
I was in awe. I didn't know what was going on. Patients were coming in showing me laboratory results where their cancer tumors had vanished. Children with cerebral palsy and epilepsy were able to walk and run and play and speak normally, not have seizures. Their parents would call me and ask what I had done. Their doctors would call and ask what I had done. I said I didn't do anything and don't tell anyone. And, of course, the more I said that, the more people started talking about it.
Yeah.
And soon people started asking me to teach this. And I said, teach it. You got to be crazy. I'm standing there waving my hands in the air looking like an idiot. So you go outside, wave your hands in the air. Let me know what your neighbors have to say about you. But more and more, my patients would tell me they drove home after leaving my office. They pulled up in front of their house and their automatic garage door opened before they hit the automatic button to open it, or they walked inside, their lamp or their computer or their TV started to turn itself on and off and on and off. They felt sensations in their hands. They would hold their hands near someone in the family, and the grandfather could walk again after the stroke, or the aunt regained her hearing, and we suddenly began to recognize that once we interact with this new, more comprehensive spectrum of healing, what science says takes us beyond anything they think we've been able to access through energy healing before, into a spectrum of energy, light, and information. Once we interact with this, it changes us biologically, cellularly, physiologically. It changes our essence. It changes the light emitting from our DNA. It actually, 5 studies so far shows that reconnective healing is restructuring, or what I like to say, reconnecting our DNA. And it allows us to not only access and facilitate healings for ourselves, but to facilitate healings for others as well.
Wow. Isn't that incredible? I understand there are a lot of studies all over the world studying this phenomena and how you heal, how you can teach other people healing the way you are doing. So, what did they come up with? All these researchers.
Well, they've done a lot of different studies from a lot of different perspectives. I mean, one of the first studies that happened took place at the University of Arizona under the auspices of Dr. Gary Schwartz, and what they had done was they had double-blinded students. It was a double-blinded study where they actually blindfolded students in a darkened room and had them sit about a yard away from either me or someone that I had taught to do this, and they had to hold their hands up and see what direction, whether the person sending, shall we say, these frequencies was intending them to go to the person's right hand or left hand. And on the first day, they averaged about 65% accuracy. Now, you would expect the accuracy to be 50-50 if they were just guessing, if it were not real. But 65% was statistically significant. I didn't find it all that exciting, but the researchers did. What became much more exciting, that was at the end of this 5-day study, on the 5th day, they were accurate to approximately 95%. Now, if you go from 65% to 95%, that's called a learning curve. And once you've established a learning curve, well, you can't learn to find something unless it exists. So one of the findings of this study was that these reconnective healing frequencies actually exist, and they exist and feel different than just Reiki or Qigong or the energy healing techniques that we know of, because the students were able to discern when it was the reconnective healing frequencies. Later studies along the way did very interesting things with DNA. They showed damaged DNA, human DNA, and plant DNA, and they showed how if you heated it up to a point where it damaged and uncoiled, if you left it alone, it would take a certain amount of time to recoil back to a healthy state. If you did energy healing on it, it would take a slightly different amount of time. But if you did reconnective healing, it was the only thing that actually sped up and increased the healing, bringing it back to its healthy state. And with all the control groups doing energy healing techniques, only reconnective healing, which takes us beyond energy healing, not only healed the damage that the scientific study intentionally inflicted in the DNA, but it was the only one that healed the pre-existing damage or weakness in the DNA, the damage that was there before the study actually heated it and damaged it itself.
Wow.
But,
I just wanted to tell the listeners, in case you tuned in right now, we are speaking with Dr. Eric Pearl, the author of the Reconnection. Anybody who wants to talk personally with Dr. Eric can call 347-637-1189. And I believe Dr. Eric would be able to answer any questions.
I will, Leah, as long as we just lay the ground rules for the questions, and we make sure that the questions are about the general concept of becoming a healer and accessing healing in general so that everyone can learn from it. Let's not take any questions from people who call in and say, I have this problem, my daughter has this problem, my friends has this problem, what can I do? Because that's not the kind of advice that I can give in this type of a situation.
I totally understand. Thank you for clearing up, Eric. I totally understand. Okay, so what you're saying, Eric, is that that's how the reconnective healing emerged.
Yeah, that's how it came about. That's how it showed up. We just recently we came back from Russia, where we worked with Dr. Konstantin Korotkov, who's a top government researcher and main person in the university, the main university there in St. Petersburg, Russia, and works with the Olympic athletes. And we did a study with, and I believe the number, and I might be off on this, were 60 Olympic athletes. And I believe what they did was that they broke them up into 3 groups. One group received reconnective healing, one group received energy healing, and one group received nothing. And the group that received nothing and the group that received just energy healing, like Reiki or one of those forms,
right,
showed no change when they were measured 10 days later. But 100% of the people who received reconnective healing showed dramatic changes in their red blood cells, their white blood cells, their blood humoral levels, their emotional states, and even their DNA. And this was 10 days after the study when they were remeasured. What was so exciting to the researchers about that was that it showed that these changes are not just temporary feel-good changes, but they're established long-term changes in you once you interact with these healings, which goes to show what we've always seen, what we've seen so much, witnessed so much in reconnective healing, which is that part of what makes the healing so different than just energy healing is that they tend to be fairly instantaneous, and they tend to last for the lifetime of the person.
For the lifetime of the person, and instantaneously. Oh, my God. Wow. Can I share my experience when I took the seminar, Eric?
Please.
First of all, I took the one with Cecilia, remote healing, and I was flabbergasted. One part of my body, the side that I had breast cancer, it was vibrating. I'm telling you, it was so vibrating. Oh, it was incredible. It's got some kind of sensation going through my body, and it was from remote. I mean, like, I don't know how many miles we are afar.
Right, because you can also do distance healing with this work, or what you say, remote healing.
This is wonderful. And at that time, I made also decisions to be, spiritual decisions at that time, to be a healer myself. And a few months later, I took your seminar. And as I said earlier, it was just incredible. As I said earlier, I burst into tears 4 times the first day. It was just so touching and so incredible that, after that, I saw also the title of the book that was translated to Hebrew when I was there, and I called Israel, which I'm originally from, and told my sister to buy the book. And you know what? She bought the book. She took the Reconnective Healing in Israel, and she was so flabbergasted. And she wanted to take somebody else's seminar. I said, why do you want to go to him? Then just read Eric's book. And I'm telling you, she was so incredibly excited. And I mean, I'm talking about you and about your book to everybody. So I am myself energy, reconnective healer, and it's all so exciting and so easy to learn with the help of Eric, and I really thank you very, very much for that.
Well, it's my pleasure.
I'm telling you, I get so excited every time. You see, I interviewed you twice prior to taking the seminar myself. So now I can just talk about it with so much excitement because I personally experienced it on my own body and flesh and mind and everything. So, Eric, now let's talk about what's you touched it a little bit by comparison to Reiki or anything else, but can you elaborate more about it? What's the difference between reconnective healing and other healing per se?
Well, I think you mean what's the difference between reconnective healing and energy healing?
Oh, energy healing.
Okay. Energy healing is what we have had on the planet up until now. Everything here has been energy. We've been existing in a four-dimensional bubble, shall we say. In this huge multi-dimensional universe, we've had our existence in like a little four-dimensional bubble is the way they describe it in quantum physics. So imagine this tiny little bubble in this vast, endless universe. And the wall or the cell of the bubble in which we exist is comprised of the four dimensions of height, width, depth, and time. And everything inside the bubble, everything inside this bubble has been energy. So every time we focus in with a technique, we get a different part, a different portion, a fraction, a fragment, a subset of that energy. So one technique has us focus in on one part of the energy. It feels different. We access it differently. Another technique, Reiki or Qigong, feels different than the other one. It's accessed differently. It's sort of like looking at the stars in the heavens through a telescope. We focus in with a telescope. That's like utilizing a technique, and we get to see some of the stars. We focus in on another part of the heavens with a telescope with our technique, and we get to see part of the stars. And they're beautiful stars, the Reiki stars, the Qigong stars. But at a certain point in time, our soul craves to see the entire heavens. It doesn't want just the subsets any longer. So it wants to see the bigger picture. And in order to do that, we take the gifts of what we've learned from the subsets, but we let go of the technique now. We put the telescope down, we place it down, and suddenly we can see the fuller, broader, more comprehensive picture. Not just the different little areas that we've studied, but everything that we've missed in looking out through the telescopes gets to come into play as well. It's as if, I view our religions as if they're windows out into the universe. So we grow up all of our lives looking out of maybe one window, maybe the same window that our parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents looked out of. And one window shows a synagogue, another a mosque, another a church. One shows a river, a lake, or a mountain, or a stream, or a beach. And we think that that is what God, love, and the universe is comprised of, what our window shows. And then we meet someone else who says their window shows something else. And the frightened part of our personality, what Gary Zukov refers to as the ego, what we refer to as the ego, what Gary Zukov refers to, I believe, as the frightened part of our personality, doesn't want us to be wrong, is worried, frightened that we're wrong or that our parents or grandparents might be wrong. So we argue with that person over whose window is right, whose is wrong, until maybe we meet someone who doesn't intimidate or threaten us, who talks about their window showing something different, and we feel comfortable enough to peek out their window and we see that it does show something different. Then our curiosity gets the better of us. We start looking out of other windows, and we find that many of them show different things. But even if, and it's like recognizing that diamonds have different facets, and the more the facets to the diamonds, the more beautiful the diamond shimmers and shines. But even if we look out of every single window, every single one, we'll never see the whole picture, because each window is limited by the window frame. And the window frame is further limited by the wall that supports the frame, that supports the glass window itself. So only when we're willing to all go outside, hold hands, go up on the roof, and have a party, can we see 360 degrees in all directions. That's when we're willing to let go of the technique, of the fine focus of the window, of the telescope, for example. But the person who goes up and joins the party on the roof carrying part of their window frame is the only person who is limited in their view, limited in their perspective. So our goal here today, the opportunity that we're being given, is to access the larger picture, to put the telescopes down, to let go of peering out from the limitations of the windows. In essence, it's like when we learned to ride a bicycle, we probably learned with a set of training wheels, because the training wheels let us establish our initial sense of balance on the bicycle. But once we mastered the bicycle with the training wheels, what do? Well, we take the training wheels off, because it's the only way we master the bicycle itself. Our techniques have been our wonderful training wheels. They've helped us establish our balance on the bicycle. They've allowed us to master energy healing techniques. But unfortunately, no one's really very much been around to tell us that once we master the technique, we have to transcend it. So we keep adding technique after technique, training wheel after training wheel, and we keep mastering the bicycle with clunky training wheels, but we never master the bicycle itself. We were not placed here on this earth to be a Reiki or a Qigong or a Jinshin or an XYZ energy healing technique master. We were placed here to become masters of healing itself, and the true gift of the technique comes only in its transcendence.
So which means reconnective healing is not a technique, right?
It's not a technique. It's a way to teach us how to transcend, how to let go of our techniques, and instead of trying to do the healings with limitations, instead to become the healing. You know, every choice we make comes from either fear, lack, limitation, the illusion of separation, darkness, the need for control, or it comes from love, prosperity, and abundance, oneness, light, unity, freedom. Healing resides in love, prosperity, abundance, and light. We can't stand in fear, protecting ourselves with a white flame or a gold flame, or pulling up imaginary zippers, or shaking off negative energy and spraying ourselves down with alcohol, and bring about healings that reside in love. We can't stand in the fear of doing that thing and bring about healings that reside in love. We can't stand in the control of the techniques that tell us first do step A, then step B, then step C, then bring this much of the energy up from the earth and that much down from the heavens and this much in a clockwise circle, and experience and facilitate healings that reside in freedom. We can't stand in lack and limitation trying to add things to ourselves, crystals, amulets, necklaces, gems, and to make us more. We can't stand in that lack and limitation and facilitate healings that can only come from once we step into our internal power, our abundance of being 100% who and what we are. So at some point, we have to recognize where we've been, acknowledge and be thankful for these lovely training wheels for what they taught us, but pick up our fears, our limitations, cradle them, love them, carry them, walk with them one step at a time into the light, and allow light to do what light does best, which is to show us that this darkness never existed in the first place. It was only where we didn't allow ourselves to shine as the light that we truly are. In other words, The people who have been involved in teaching healing, who are telling us that we need this object and this protection and that protection and this ritual and that ritual, aren't doing bad things. Yes, they are keeping us in a consciousness of fear, lack, and limitation, but it's not a bad thing. It's an important thing for us to get through. And when we all die and we all show up at that beautiful light where we all come from and where we all return to, we are not going to look at them as bad people. We are going to embrace them with love and gratitude and say thank you so very much for doing your job so wonderfully and beautifully. You did it so well. You brought me into such a space of fear, lack, limitation, need for control that I finally realized what I couldn't have any other way is that I don't need to do that any longer. I don't need to be that any longer. And you gave me the impetus that I needed to step into love, prosperity, abundance, and light.
Wow. Oh, you said it so beautifully. Eric, can I share what experience I had a few days after I took the seminar?
I'd love it. I'd love to hear it.
I used to have backache. Okay?
You used to have what?
Backache.
Backaches. Uh-huh.
Back pain.
Mm-hmm.
And a few days after I took the seminar, the same week, a few days I woke up in the morning and I was still lying down in my bed and on my back, and between the state of awake and sleep, I felt physically somebody holding both sides of my hips and moving it.
Mm-hmm.
Actually heard the click. Are you with me?
Yeah.
I actually heard the click in my back, and I felt physically somebody holding my both sides of my hip and turning around, and a click. And after that, my back pain is gone. For good, Eric, is gone. Can you see how excited I am about it?
Yes. You know, reconnective healing works in the ways that it works. It comes about at its appropriate time and its appropriate form. It has nothing to do with faith or hope or belief. It just is. It just is. You know, when these healings first started happening, my patients were traveling in from all around the world. Well, I'm sorry, let me rephrase this. When these healings first started happening, my patients were coming in to see a chiropractor, and I thought I was one. You can't double-blind to study any better than that. None of us were expecting these healings, you know. We were expecting the same chiropractic that had been going on in my office for 12 years. There was no faith, hope, belief, hypnosis, neuro-linguistic programming, positive visualization, none of that. But what was interesting was that as word got out around the world, people started traveling in from halfway around the globe. Oftentimes, they were dragged into my office by a well-meaning friend or relative, and they'd look at me and say, you know, I think that this is a pile of garbage, and I wouldn't even be here if my husband or wife didn't make me come. And I would say to them, well, you know what? You already flew here. You took time off out of your life, off of your work. You know, you're here in Los Angeles for a week. Believe it or not, worse things actually do happen to some people. So why don't you say to yourself, this is a wonderful opportunity to lie down in the middle of the day and rest your eyes for 30 minutes. So take it. And these people would have some of the most dramatic healings. If anyone didn't have a healing, it wasn't the person who didn't believe in it. It was the person who believed in it too much. It was the person who came in saying, I know this works, it has to work, I've read every book ever written on healing, I'm sleeping with all the right crystals under my pillow, and I'm wearing, you know, all the right chakra color bands, I'm only turning in clockwise circles from full moon to full moon. They were doing everything that they had ever heard to do. And that attachment to needing an end result became the constriction. It became the limitation. But you see, the person who didn't believe in it in the first place, well, it's kind of hard to become attached to something if you don't believe it exists in the beginning. So the healing gifts simply flowed through them. We have to learn how to, as Michael Beckwith from the Agape Church often teaches, we have to learn how to, instead of being result-oriented, allow ourselves to be process-oriented. Focus on the process. What am I feeling? What am I seeing? What am I observing? Allow myself to enter into the healing space. And instead of determining or telling God, love, and the universe what form you think the healing should take, instead allow the healing to take its most perfect form according to what is right for you. And it might be coming in the form that you anticipated, that you came in desiring, and your healing might show up in a form that the universe has designed for you, something you haven't even dreamed of.
Yeah, maybe something even better.
Mm-hmm.
Better and greater, and, oh, wow. You said it so beautifully. Oh, my God. Now, my next question is, can anybody learn how to do reconnective healing?
Anyone and everyone can learn how to do this work. Once you interact with it, and that's the first requirement, you do need to interact with it. It's nothing that we can just ohm in. It's not just here in the universe that we can access because we want to. That's the part of the ego that actually lets us think we have it and actually blocks us from ever fully accessing it. What the universe has set up as part of this is a system to help free us of the ego of entitlement that says, I was reconnected in a dream or in a past life. Well, actually, no. That's not the way it happens. It happens when we are willing to interact with someone else who has already learned how to access this and then learn from them how to be able to access this. And that is a requirement. Once that happens, we access something so broad and comprehensive that we continue the spread of this on the planet. Once we interact with it, we learn to access it. Then the challenge comes in, can we keep it pure? It's like once we learn how to access it, we learn how to transcend technique. We learn how to take the training wheels off, let go of the techniques that we've been doing, put the telescopes down, stop carrying around parts of our window frames with us, and we bring it through fully. The only people who aren't able to, let's not say they're not able, because everyone's able to. The only people who aren't bringing it through fully are the ones who are still attaching technique or superstition to it. They're trying to channel in information. They're trying to bring in tones. They're trying to create numerologic systems around it. They're trying to, use crystals and pendulums and pendants. They're trying to make it more. And you see, as long as we're trying to take perfection and make it more, then we're not allowing ourselves to stand in the full appreciation and benefit of this spot of perfection. This allows us to move beyond our four-dimensional existence into what some people mistakenly will refer to as a fifth-dimensional existence, because we think that 5 has to follow 4. But once we move beyond 4 dimensions, nothing is linear. It's not sequential. There's no more 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's no such thing as the 7th or the 27th dimensional healing. What happens is we step into what's called a multidimensional healing. It's transmodal. It's multidimensional. And in that space, we stand in perfection and observe, and it continues to expand and expand and expand. There is no next because there is no sequence. There simply is more, and we become more.
Oh, wow. Wow, I get goosebumps. We are more, and we do not depend on objects or techniques. And when we touch the core, the light, the love that we are, everything is possible. And that's what I understand the Reconnective Healing is all about. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Wow. Can you tell the listeners, I've been there, but can you tell the listeners what happens in the seminar room? Like, as I told you earlier, I burst into tears 4 times, and but other people want to know what exactly happens there.
Well, okay. What
For example,
happens
why did I burst into tears? I don't know.
Well, and I don't know either because I don't know what was going on at that particular moment. By the way, Leah, I don't know if you are aware of this, but we have 2 seminars going on in the United States this year. There's just 2 more seminars left this year in the United States. One is going to be in the Los Angeles area. It'll actually be at Newport Beach.
Yes.
October 19 through 21, and one will be in Miami, December 7 through 9. Anyway, and I imagine if you have an international listenership, you probably listen to in England also. We'll be giving a seminar in London the weekend of September 21.
Really? In London?
Yeah.
I can tell my sister who lives in London.
Ah, there you go. Well, we're giving seminars all around the planet. I travel approximately 45 weeks every year teaching this work.
You see, my sister in Israel is dying for you to go to Israel. Do you have any plans for
Not for this year. We're planning on going in 2013, but not for this year, not for 2012.
Oh, 2013, you're going to go to, are you planning?
Yeah, that's our plan.
Okay, I'll tell her about that.
Good. So I'll tell everyone, I'll answer your original question. We'll tell everyone what goes on at the seminars. It's usually a Friday night and then all day Saturday and Sunday. What happens on the Friday night is I give a 3-hour presentation where we talk about the history of the work, the theory of the work, the philosophy, the science, some of it, and we bring up some volunteers from the audience to give live demonstrations of the healings so you can see the reality of this maybe on someone even that you know, maybe even on yourself. And we give everyone an opportunity to feel this in your hands. That's Friday night. But Saturday and Sunday is very different. Saturday and Sunday is a real working seminar. So I tell everyone, don't come, and I mean it, don't come if you think we're all going to sit around, hold hands, ohm, and drum and sing Kumbaya. My Lord, it won't happen that way. What happens is...
We have done that before,
no, it
right?
doesn't. Yeah. We demonstrate a level of the healing from the stage, and then we all go to massage tables. I walk around to each table, so does our internationally trained team of teaching assistants. They walk around to each table. And we work with your hands. We take your hands. We show you how to begin to find, how to begin to feel this new, more comprehensive healing spectrum. And as you begin to tune into it and feel it, you start to see the person who's lying on the table. You start to see their body go into involuntary physical responses. Eyes rapidly dart back and forth, and or fingers move up and down. Then we show you how to move to a different portion of the spectrum, and it feels different to you. And as you feel and access that, then you'll start to see their legs move or their feet move or their breathing change. And you begin to recognize that when I'm here, I'm feeling this, and I'm seeing them respond one way. When I'm here, I'm feeling something else. I'm seeing the person on the table respond another way. And you start to recognize your clear, distinct role in guiding these people into a healing space. Then we go back to the chairs. We talk about what we just learned. We demonstrate a new level of the healing. We go back to the tables again. We also talk more about the philosophy and ways of setting up your initial healing practice and other things. And by the end of the weekend, I can pretty much make you 2 promises, which are A, you will be able to do anything and everything in the way of healing that I can do. And B, you will be able to do anything and everything in the way of healing that any human being anywhere on this planet can do.
This is so exciting. I'm telling you, Ari, this is so exciting. Now, I understand you have reconnective yoga for kids, for yoga. I mean, all kind of stuff. Can you elaborate a little bit?
Well, just a few different things. You know, we've got reconnective kids, reconnective yogas, and reconnective animals. And basically it's this. Reconnective yoga came from the fact that we observe so often that people with strong limitations to their range of motion often regain great range of motion, often full range of motion, after just initially interacting with the reconnective healing frequencies. So a lot of people involved in yoga, so a lot of people involved in yoga began to recognize right away what a gift it is, and now a lot of yoga instructors are learning reconnective healing and learning how to bring it into the healing to the yoga classes so that people can more fully attain the yoga positions, the asanas. Reconnective animals, well, there's really no difference in working with animals than people with the healing work itself, except that there are different ways that are good to approach animals so that they feel comfortable and relaxed. And so we teach that in the seminars, how to work more comfortably, with the animals. Reconnective Kids is a class for younger children who may be too young to attend the adult seminar, and it teaches them how to access this work. The very young children can learn to access it inside of a few hours instead of a weekend, because they have very little baggage that they have to get past. They don't come in with fears, thinking they need to protect themselves, or rituals. They don't come in with the ego of thinking that they already know everything, or concerned about how many certificates and diplomas they have on their wall and verifying all of their techniques. So they don't have to work to let go of all of that. They don't have all that garbage. They simply step right in to the fullness of the healings and access it freely. So that's why we also offer some of those courses.
Isn't it wonderful? Because the kids are just like sponge, and as you said, they don't have baggage, and they're pure soul, and they get it immediately, versus us, who think that we know so much and put barriers and techniques and all this kind of stuff on our way in order to learn it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do people usually take it for their own personal use, or they intend to heal other people, or both?
People come in for different reasons. People come in to learn self-healing, and people come in to learn how to facilitate the healings for others. I usually say, if your only reason to come in is to have your own healing, you can go to the website. It's www.thereconnection.com, and you can go to the directory of practitioners and maybe find someone in your area and have a healing session. But if your purpose is not only for whatever benefit you might gain personally in your own healing world and your own evolution, but to also be able to help others, to facilitate healings for others, then come take the seminar, because then you will be steeping in the healing frequencies for an entire weekend. There's a lot to be said for that, and many, many, many people report healings just from attending the seminar. But then you've got the added gift of being able to facilitate healings for others. And these are not just physical healings. The reconnective healing allows you to reconnect with your original fullness, the spirit of who and what you are, what we often tend to experience, we're told, for people who have had life-after-death experiences, what we experience when we revisit that light that we all return to, that we all come from, that oneness. And it tends to throw us onto our life course, maybe even faster than we had in mind. Some people say, be careful, the reconnection may radically alter the course of your life.
For better.
Mm-hmm. And you can learn how to facilitate that for other people as well, which is a wonderful gift. And very many people open up healing practices after the seminar, become healthcare practitioners of reconnective healing.
I know. I'm working on it. I got my certificate and my business card, and I give healing, remote healing, and also in person. And also, I started doing it on Skype. You know, there's another way to do it.
You don't need to do it on. You don't need to do it on Skype, though. You know, it becomes something. It becomes a middleman that stands in the way. Do it without. Don't bother with the Skype or the telephone or any other way. Do it via distance, just in the presence of yourself and your consciousness. Right. Or do it one-on-one. I like to do it one-on-one in person. I like to share the experience with someone and actually be there and witness it and talk about it right afterwards.
Well, that's me.
Mm-hmm.
I am so excited, I'm telling you. So those people who take the seminar, they get some kind of certification that they are practitioners and some kind of recognition.
Oh yeah, you get a certificate of attendance saying that you attended the seminar.
And also they can go and go to your website, which is the Reconnection.com.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's just like the book title. The book title is The Reconnection: Heal Others, Heal Yourself. It's in 36 plus languages by now. And the website is thereconnection.com.
And every time I go to your website, Eric, you are in different part of the world. Can you tell us what's going on?
I'm on the road about 45 weeks a year, traveling and teaching this work in all different countries, almost a different country every week, sometimes more.
I know this is your...
That's why I told you the only 2 United States seminars this year that are left is the one in Los Angeles and Newport Beach, October 19 through 21, and the one in Miami, which is December 7, 8, and 9.
Okay. So
all the other seminars are taught in English around the world, but they're simultaneously translated into the language or languages of the country or the surrounding countries. Except, of course, obviously the one that we're giving in London, September 21st. That will just be in English.
I have a sister in England. I mean, she read your book already, so she'll be really happy to have you there. Oh, my God. And to Israel, you're going to Israel next year. I have got to prepare my sister there. Eric.
Yes.
You travel more overseas versus being in United States.
Yeah, I think we're going to look at shifting some of that to coming back a little bit more into the U.S. next year. We'll have to see.
Is it the reason because, like in South America, they are more exposed, people more exposed to healing versus America?
No. We just, I mean, the book only came out in Spanish a couple of years ago, and we're trying to get it spread throughout the Spanish-speaking world now with the seminars, teaching people how to do it.
I see. Okay. What else can you tell us about your seminars, about this healing that I did not cover?
I'm not sure. We spoke about so much. I think you covered plenty. I think the main gift for us to learn today is that there is no one special person anywhere in the world that we need to go to, that we need to travel to receive a healing from. Even today, new people are still trying to break out and give us new healing techniques and new specialties and special numbers and geometric configurations and formulas and pendulums, and we don't need any of this. It is time for us to grow beyond it. It is time for us to grow beyond it. And it's easy to fall back into that state of fear and control. What we want to learn is that 2012 is about us looking not for what makes us unique and different and special, but for us to look at what makes us all the same, what makes us all one. Wow. It's not about what the healings can bring to you, only through you. Unfortunately, we've even had people who attended the seminars, some of the people who taught us, who helped us as assistants in the seminars. And, because the healings are so phenomenal, their egos got involved and they tried to come out with healing techniques and name it after themselves and make it about what it could bring to them. And it's a shame that they're walking backwards from that, because the whole concept of this is for us to reconnect and become one.
Eric, this is the reason that you called your book, The Reconnection, Heal Others, Heal Yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Others, we are going to heal ourselves. Is this the reason?
In the process of facilitating healings for others, we experience our own healing.
Wow. Wow. Because usually people say, okay, if you want to heal somebody, heal yourself first. Then how can you heal somebody else?
No, because it's not your physical being that does the healings. It's your essence, and your essence is always perfect. If you wait to heal yourself, you're waiting for the perfect time to get pregnant or to get married. It never comes along, and once you get pregnant, once you get married, then it is the perfect time. Begin facilitating healings for others. Your healings will evolve in the process.
Oh, wow. This is so great. This is so great. Heal others, heal yourself. Because by healing others, in the process, I heal myself. And this is so great the way you put it in. Okay, Eric, one more time. What is your website? And people can go and check. You're listing all your seminars, where they are located.
Yeah, the seminars are all listed on the website. There's a schedule of events. The website and the book title are pretty much the same, so it's easy to remember. The book title is The Reconnection, Heal Others, Heal Yourself, and the website is www.thereconnection.com.
And everybody who goes to that website, they can find out the schedule, what country you are in, and what date, and places, and all this kind of stuff.
Right, and hopefully we'll see a lot of you in the Newport Beach seminar, October 19th through 21.
I will be there. I spoke with Jackie already.
Oh, very good. I look forward to it.
I knew about this. Well, are you kidding?
Okay, good.
I knew you were going to be in Newport Beach because I spoke with Jackie and she told me, and so I'm going to see you there for sure.
Okay, and otherwise there's Miami, December 7, 8, and 9. Okay,
Miami, December. Okay.
Okay.
Eric, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure once again.
I'm excited. And I would love to have you again. I mean, now you're going to go to London, to Israel. I mean, I am so excited because I'm able to help other people who really need this kind of healing. I mean,
good. Me too.
That's it. Again, Eric, Eric's website is www.thereconnection.com, and I encourage everybody, please go visit Eric's website. And you are a lot on YouTube, and you teach people how to do it as well. They can also access YouTube information from your website as well?
Absolutely. YouTube and Twitter and all those Facebooks and all those wonderful things.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Eric, so much.
Thank you.
I'll see you on October 19 in Newport Beach. And believe me, I'm not going to pass that by there.
Very good. We'll see you there.
I love you, Eric.
Love you too.
And your willingness to help the humanity. And by the way, I just heard from one of your facilitators during the course. I thought Eric was like 40, 50, between 40 to 50 years old. Eric, how old are you?
Darling, there are some questions that we just don't answer. When you can tell me what my age has to do with healing, I'll tell you my age. How's that?
The reason I'm asking is because you look so young, okay? And I read in the book, and you were in practice and all this kind of stuff. So I was curious. I mean, this guy looks so young. And I was shocked when I
will tell you one thing. Very, very, very many of our healing, our teaching assistants report back to us that once they start working with this new spectrum of healing frequencies, that their families ask them what happened to them because they all look like 15, 20 years younger.
That's it. That's the point I wanted to make.
Aha. Okay. Very good.
That's the point I wanted to make, because you look so young, and I was calculating it cannot be that he looks so young. What's going on here? So this is the reason that you look so young, because doing this kind of work keeps people young and energetic and happy and joyful and all this kind of stuff. So I want to hang around you. Do you blame me for that?
No.
Okay, Eric.
Okay.
I love you, and I appreciate you, and I encourage everybody, go visit Eric's website and go have this experience of a lifetime. So it's all worth it.
Okay.
And thanks so much, Eric.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.
And I'll be seeing you in October, and I may be seeing you the beginning of October. Are you going to the expo?
No, I won't be in the U.S. until just before the October seminar in Newport Beach.
Oh, I see. Where are you calling from now?
I am in the U.S. right now, but only for another week or so.
Okay. Eric, thanks so much.
Thank you.
And I'll talk to you soon, and
okay.
Soon as well. Okay?
Take care.
Bye-bye, Eric.
Bye-bye.
Speaking of healing ourselves and the world, I encourage all the listeners to visit Dr. Craig's website at www.healingwithdrcraig.com and be a part of Dr. Craig's The Healers. Dr. Craig is defying conventional expectations after 18 years since being diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease, and his mission is to help others to heal. Please share your wisdom to the healers by joining forces with other prominent healers such as Dr. Bruce Lipton, Dr. Bernie Siegel, Dr. Larry Malerba, and many others. Again, the website is www.healingwithdrcraig.com. And I want to tell you who's going to be my guest next week is Betsy Muller, who is the author of Energy Makeover, a conscious way to stay young, have fun, and get more done. And on August 28th, I have my guest is Peter McCarthy, author of the book Adrenaline Nation, who speaks about stress that we have in our life and how we can eliminate that. And on September 4th, I have my guest is Lynn McTaggart McTaggart, who is the author of 6 books and 3 of them bestsellers, The Bond and The Intention Experiment and The Field. So please tune in to the next month. All my guests are really different kind of healers. And I want to say goodbye to everybody. Thank you very much, because if you were not listening to my show, I would not be able to have these incredible healers and incredible people who are helping us to heal ourselves and heal others as well. So this is Leah. I am signing off. Till next week. And please go and visit my website, which is ilovemybreastcancer.com. All in one word, ilovemybreastcancer.com. Thank you, everybody. We will talk with you next week. Bye-bye.